play where, he's coming at you, spin out of it, you drift over the sideline, hit the sidearm throw, like, is it like slow motion when that's happening, or you just kind of black it out and instincts, how do you process that now? What's going on?
I think, you're going through your whole process pre-snap during the play, and then at that point you're trying to find your check down or you're extending the play, and there, you're trying to save points, trying to get a first down, so really it's just playing football at that point. That's when you're in kind of flow state, you're just trying to get it out of your hand, make something happen.
What about the zone read touchdown run? What did you see that play?
Yeah, it was kind of a plan that we had throughout the week as far as whenever they brought in a certain package, we get to certain runs. So we got to that run, and I was just reading that in. I knew I could beat him to the edge and get to the end zone. And it was really well executed drive just from the whole offense. So it was good to get down there.
Nice to get a couple opportunities to do the QB run game today. I think you had 2 read options.
Yeah, that first one I probably could have gave, and it was kind of 50-50 and kind of similar thought process. I thought I could beat him, but yeah, we'll watch it back. But I knew coming into it, wanted to utilize it a little bit more and just what I can do and show, and just have that element of it, especially if we're going to get certain looks in that run game.
When did that become part of your game? Because it feels like that's something we studied throughout the preseason camp and such.
Running the ball?
Yeah, like just more so like the instincts of when or when not to take it.
You just throughout camp you're going through different installs where you don't really have some of that stuff, and we're just kind of going through the flow of it. But I feel like it's always been there ever since I was at Oregon, and it's just kind of different systems. Really, that's all it's been. And I ran it a bunch at Tech as well. Louisville, I didn't as much just because it was a different system. But I think that's just something that you kind of have to have, is that element of extending those plays and running it.
Do you feel like you've shown enough to win the starting quarterback job?
It's a good question. I think for me, what I put on tape continually throughout the call-up periods, throughout the games, just kind of had the steady growth on the operation. I feel like it has been enough. I feel like I'm fully capable to go out there and lead the charge. Obviously I don't make those decisions. I think the whole team, the whole offense has continually gotten better. But for me, I feel really comfortable going into week to week, and I'm just excited to get to work on Arizona and see what we're going to do.
What are the next couple of days like for you? Like, what is your personal process? Because the announcement's coming soon. Like, do you get overly nervous about it? Like how do you put that aside and not just worry about it or think about it?
Yeah, I think it's what you said. You've put in the work to this point, and it's a continual process. You can look back at every single moment where you maybe had a mistake, but those mistakes were necessary to kind of get to this point. So it's and I'm going to continue to make mistakes, and that's part of it. So I think the biggest thing is just, I feel like I have nothing to lose, and that's kind of the mindset I have to remind myself with, is I wasn't really supposed to get drafted at a certain point. I wasn't supposed to be here. A lot of people are still going to doubt me, and I'm just happy to go out there and compete with all the guys. And I think we have that same mindset where we're being doubted, and we love it. So we just kind of have that attitude, and whatever the case may be, just go attack it.
Along those lines, there was the sack fumble today. You're not trying to be like, just don't blow it out there. You're not trying to just be like, if I don't make any mistakes, then you'll be viewed a certain way.
No, that was just playing there. We had the exact, look what we wanted. Everything was going good. I was going to rip it to Tipton on the back shoulder, and they went to invert. I had him beat on that flat defender, so the DN made a good move and had knocked the ball out. That's just kind of part of it. It sucks, but I think the whole O-line played really well, especially the whole game. We just got to finish on some of those penalties, in the red zone and stuff like that. But it was good.
Tyler, do you ever find yourself looking for hints or reading into things that might tell you which way this quarterback decision is going to go, even if you don't mean to, maybe just like who was with the ones that day or something a coach said? Or
I think they've done a really good job of just giving us, I feel like both equal chances as far as reps and times to take control of the room, or times to share the different roles. And I think they've done a really good job as far as splitting that up and having certain days. So today, one guy's going to get these reps with the ones, then we'll rotate. So I think they've done a good job. That also, it's hard because you don't really get a certain flow, but I think that's part of it. And but for me, it's human nature to want to do that. And like I said before, the biggest thing that I've kind of learned is just operating wise and controlling your reps. I think I've done a really good job at finishing the past couple weeks of doing that and just having fun with it.
How do you evaluate your preseason performance from your plays, your command, decision making? How do you evaluate all that?
I think for me, it's I think it's been that steady growth, and I think it's been a steady increase of performance. And I think what I add to the table as far as just from down the field elements, running the ball, controlling the offense, managing it, giving our guys chances to play. I think I've done a really good job of that. I also think Spencer's really capable as well. I think Jake is really capable as well. I think it's obviously a really tough decision, and we got a lot of talent on offense. But I know for us and for myself, I'm going to continue to keep getting better because regardless of what the scenario is, I feel like I'm ready to go and the guy to go out there and play. And we'll see what happens. But I'm just really thankful to be able to work with this offense and the team just because we got such a good group.
When you're looking at a box after a game, what are you checking out first, or where your eyes gonna go?
Like a box score?
Yeah, like, is that what you're looking at?
Oh, it's just kind of like notes but yeah, some box scores. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of it too. But I think for me, you're looking at the whole story. Like obviously you got all the quarterback stats, completions, all that stuff. But there's a story in each every one of it. There could be a better ball placement here, or we had maybe an incompletion there, and maybe you're doing the right decision. So I think after you watch the film, that's where you kind of get the true answer of it.
Kind of think of Devin Neal. It's our first time seeing him.
Yeah.
Same action today. That big boot now.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. I think his savviness is what stands out to me. One, in the run game, he's really a power runner, but he's got kind of some finesse, and then he's also extremely capable in the pass game, as we've seen. This kind of practices running some of these choice routes. He's been getting open almost every single time, and then obviously in the pass game, he's making people miss. So I think he's going to be really good for us, especially being behind AK and kind of seeing. I feel like there's similar capabilities there.
I know you haven't actually been into it yet, but do you feel like your background and the ebbs and flows of your journey to get here could help you with the adversity that might come if you were the week one starter and there might be some hard games and there's 4 or 5 hard games right there at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're maybe callous to some of the emotional turmoil that rookies go through?
100%. I think that's why I was drafted here, was to kind of understand that coming in here, and I understand the stigma. You have to come in and be in an offense that previously had Drew Brees and a lot of really good quarterbacks and a lot of just a extremely well done culture in the whole city of New Orleans. But for me, I understand like we talked about, it's about continual growth. You're not going to come in and be a Super Bowl team week one. You have to believe that and you have to operate it that way, but you're going to continue to climb and see what happens throughout the season. Like you said, there's going to be ebbs and flows, and I feel like mentally and physically I'm equipped for it. But we'll see. I think the biggest thing I've learned throughout this whole camp and preseason process is you just learn what you could from that day and then take it and apply it to tomorrow, and you'll be better off.
And that same kind of thing, both of your touchdown drives this preseason have come immediately after turnovers. What do you make of that? Is it just coincidental? Is there something to be said for kind of locking in after a bad moment, not kind of unraveling? What do you make of that?
I think for me, it's just a continual effort, and for me, I really am trying to be really intentional about communicating on the sideline and getting up in the O-line's face and we're going right back down the field and we're going to score, giving them a headbutt, whatever it may be. Just like you said, maybe not locking in, but just having that urgency. I think regardless of the drive, bad things are going to happen. You're playing football, you're throwing a ball here and may get tipped or intercepted or sacked or whatever it may be. So just operating wise, that's the biggest thing. And we had I think 3 or 4 conversions on that last drive for third down, and it was just really well done. So by the whole offense, I think to your point, it's part of the game, and you got to answer the bell.
We've seen a lot of the changes in arm slot just throughout camp, and then today I think there's 4 or 5 attempts to drop it down. Is that thought about within the play itself, or is that just kind of a feel thing in the moment?
A little bit of both. Certain looks you're getting a nickel pressure and you're spitting out a smoke screen, or you're getting out a regular screen. You're going to have to anticipate that DN blocking his shot, or having his hands in a certain angle, so you're anticipating that, and then some of it is just when you're feeling it. But I think for me, just having that part of it, and you're kind of, like I said, you're just kind of in flow state there. You're just playing, and you got to use whatever arm angle to get it out.
You might have been asked this the other day, but so apologies if you were. But do you feel like this quarterback competition is as close as John said it would?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us have done a really good job as far as just week to week, day to day, just competing. That's been the funnest part. Is just certain days, to your point, Catherine, like you said, there's going to be a good day from Spencer, a good day from Jake, a good day from me. Maybe just we're all similar, but you kind of like, you don't want to get caught up in that because I feel like for me, I've just continually gotten better. And I feel like, that growth is the one thing I've been proud of as far as, everything's not going to be perfect, but that's one thing I have learned throughout it. And, but yeah, we'll see. I think it's obviously close because, we haven't made a decision yet, but, just really happy. And I think whatever the case may be, I'm gonna really, like I said before, attack that whole process.
What was the growth point for you from the ground game play last week? Like, what do you take from that? How do you grow from that? How do you adjust?
Yeah, it's kind of a twofer. You might be in the end zone, you might not be. Take a sack. We got beat on it. So I think the growth part was just making sure we get the O-line call communicated beforehand, so you're not in that situation. And then to your point, second down and long, we may call deeper shots, we may call quick shots, but just getting the ball out of your hands quicker, even if somebody gets beat, is better than, especially when you're backed up. But we hadn't really had that scenario come up. Normally when you're in kind of those get back on track scenarios, you're thinking get the ball out quick, and we call a deep shot. That was good for me to see. If it's not there, then you just kind of have to burn it or just take the sack. So you're not thinking that, but it was good to learn from.
Why did you keep the game ball after your touchdown?
Ben brought it over. He said, "You want to keep it?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, just running it, and we'll see. Probably give it to some fam or something like that. But it was a cool just moment running it in, stuff like that.
That's why you talked about practicing patience with you all, considering the youth of the competition. How important has that aspect been for you?
For me, it's a brand new offense for everybody. So I think understanding that we're not going to be at level 300 right now when we're installing some of these plays, and we're kind of continue to grow to that, but understanding that this is the first time you're in that play and this is what we're trying to get done. So you can't get frustrated if it doesn't work out exactly as you think. And for me, that's been big, just because sometimes it's the first time I'm running a play, but I think for me, just having that background of being in different offenses in my career, and then also being able to adapt, has helped me out a lot. And then I think this whole year, I think it just fits my skill set really well in the offense and what we're trying to do.
There could be a lot of outside focus on preseason stats from practice. In the quarterback room, do you guys utilize that? Do you look at that, or in practice specifically, does it not matter without the context of what y'all may have been trying to accomplish in practice that day?
Yeah, I mean, stats in practice are kind of tough because, like you said, you might be working on a backed up scenario, or you might be working on a red zone scenario where a good play is to throw it away a bunch of times. So stuff like that is kind of what it is. I think for the biggest thing for us in the quarterback room is just decision making. Were we in the right play? Did we have any mental errors? Were you doing the right thing? And then stuff like that. That's kind of part of it. And I think for me, I've done a really good job of that, of growing earlier on and then operating. I think that's been one of my stronger suits. And but yeah, it's part of it. And I understand from the media, it's obviously super fun to track all of the incompletions and whatnot, but a lot of the hidden stuff is when you look at the film, and but yeah.
Hey, we count completions too, though, not just the bad plays. We count the good plays too.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was curious that you did it, though. I didn't know if that was like y'all use statistics like fairness.
No. In the quarterback room, no. I've been a part of some offenses where they kind of, or teams where will remind you of it, but especially when you're in when training camp, it's kind of hard because they haven't even brought it up one time, so it's just kind of really see it from you guys or something like that. But yeah, it's more of just how do we operate throughout the day? How did it go? What could we have done differently?
Quincy talked about you commanding the room and commanding this team. Having guys like Quincy, Jonathan Mendoza, Juwan, I believe Ugo and Shane, just having so many connections, does that help you step in and have the confidence to kind of take charge?
Yeah, I think for someone like Juwan specifically, who's kind of been here for a while, he's been a great just asset, friend, teammate to me, just to kind of understand some of that role of like, hey, keep your head up here, or hey, you can, come and say something here. Just having that dynamic has been really helpful for me earlier on. But also, it's just kind of, it's part of it. You have to naturally earn everybody's respect. You gotta play well for one. You play well, then you can kind of earn some of that respect. And for me, it's just like I said before. I've been in different stages of my life when I've known some of those guys at Oregon and Tech and then Louisville now, and the biggest thing is just having some juice being yourself every single day and then going out there and playing.
Is what we've seen from Quincy sort of what you saw last year? Just as far as his ability to be on the ball all the time?
With Quincy? Yeah, 100%. Like I think that's his greatest strength is his mind. He's always kind of somewhere around it, making a tackle, making a play. His ball skills, obviously physically, he's extremely talented. But I think what I've seen from him is he's kind of stepped up into that moment almost every single time. He did it last year at Louisville, and I think he's going to be a really kind of key piece for this team. Just being kind of that guy that you can really count on.
Is Trayton a guy that you've kind of just developed the trust with? It seems like there's opportunities that you kind of just give him a chance to go make a play.
Yeah, Trayton works his butt off. He's one of my favorite dudes that I've ever been kind of a teammate with, just because of he's always trying to find a little bit way to get better. And, obviously he's behind Juwan or in whatever fashion that may be. So depending on the day, he might be getting reps with one guy, but he's always kind of finding a way to get open, and he's just doing his job. And I think I was really proud of his performance, and I think he's really tough too. Like, you guys don't see it, but he's gotten like 3 or 4 stingers or shoulder times, and we're asking him to split flow and block Carl Granderson or Chase Young in some of practice, and he's stepping up to the count. So really happy for him, and hopefully stays here for a long time because he's a really good player.
It sounds like relative to your experience, you're mostly encouraged by your performances. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And why, can you listen to why that is?
Yeah, I think for me, the first game, obviously we kind of had the first 2 games, you're kind of taking turns as far as what reps you're getting. Kind of the flow of the game is differently. You're coming in first half starting, but I think for me, operating wise, throwing the football, I think it's been extremely clean. The second game, same thing. It just didn't, we only had 2 or 3 drives just because they were running the ball a lot, and that's part of it. But I think overall, the way I played, the way it's been going, I felt really, really encouraged about it. And at the end of the day, obviously, don't make the decision, but I think for me, I feel ready to go. I feel like the vibe of the team with everybody, I feel like I'm in the best position to go out there and have success. But also at the same time, Spencer's done a really good job as far as, having that comfortability, being here for last year, just operating, he's done a good job with. So I'm just excited to kind of figure out what we're going to do and game plan for Arizona and get kind of to the season, because whenever we're playing and we're kind of in that flow, I think we're going to be really good.
How disappointed would you be if you're not able to start?
That's a good question. I think for me is, a competitor, you're going to be disappointed, but understanding that, you're going to do everything you can to stay prepared, to stay ready. But at the same time, I feel up to this point, I feel like I said before, like I'm ready to go. But I don't make that decision. It'll kind of cross that bridge when you get there. But I'm just excited to come out of this game and operate. And obviously, we didn't get the win like we wanted to. Kind of finishing this preseason strong, but I think we got some momentum to kind of look forward to.
Thank you.
Thank you.